In the year 2058, the Earth has become unhabitual for the human race, so the scientist decides to find another place in the universe that can be used as the second home for humans. To fulfill this mission, John has decided to go to space with his family, so the human race can be saved. The movie opens with a scene of spaceships attacking each other in space, while a narration in the background reveals that it is the year 2058 and the pollution on the Earth has increased to a dangerous level, causing ozone depletion. In the coming few years, the Earth will become uninhabitable, so scientists are planning to send humans to another planet called Alpha Prime. The travel between Earth and Alpha Prime seems impossible due to their distance, and to overcome this problem, the United Global Space Force has built a hypergate near the Earth. They are planning to build the same hypergate at Alpha Prime, which will make travel between the two planets a lot easier. The construction of hypergate at Alpha Prime is attacked by a mutant terrorist group called Global Sedition, which destroys a spaceship. The two survival pods manage to escape from the ship, driven by Major Don and Jeb, who retaliate, causing the enemy spaceships to leave from there without causing any more trouble. Meanwhile, the humans are gathered in a modern city where Professor John is talking to the media, telling them that the hypergate will be built soon at Alpha Prime. He announces that he is traveling to Alpha Prime with his family to complete the construction of Alpha Prime. He says that this journey will take them 10 years, but once hypergate is built, it will take them a few moments to reach Alpha Prime. In John's house, his daughter Penny complains to her mother about not wanting to go to the mission as they will have to stay in the sleeping pod for 10 years, and even though they will not age, the time on Earth will pass. Later, John meets Major Don, and after some questioning, he decides to hire Don as the pilot of their spaceship Jupiter 2. While they are preparing to go to Alpha Prime, they are oblivious to the fact that John's family doctor, Smith, is working with Global Sedition, whose leader offers him a huge sum of money if he helps them destroy Jupiter 2. Smith agrees to help them destroy John's space mission. In the meantime, John comes back home and finds his son Will's time machine, which he made by himself and won first prize in school. Just then his wife Maureen comes there and complains about his busy schedule, saying he didn't even congratulate Will on his success, to which John replies that he is doing all this for their bright future. That night, Smith secretly enters Jupiter 2 and sabotages an onboard robot, but when he is leaving, the hologram of the Global Sedition leader appears in front of him, telling him that he did a good job. Before Smith can understand what is happening, he gets electrocuted by his radio set and loses consciousness. Soon John boards the spaceship with his family as they enter cryosleep and the ship launches. When the spaceship is stable, Major Don also puts himself in cryosleep. After a while, Smith wakes up and is shocked to see that a spaceship has launched and he is traveling in space. Before he can think of anything, the robot activates and starts destroying the navigation and guidance systems. Smith rushes to wake everyone from their sleep, and seeing the robot destroying the ship, they all rush to stop it. After the failed attempts from John and Captain Don, Will comes forward with a remote in his hand and manages to control the robot. Don figures out that Smith has caused the robot to activate and goes to confront him, but he stops when they realize that John's second daughter, Judy, is still sleeping inside the cryo. Smith takes this chance to save himself and requests to not kill him, as he is the only one who can save Judy. All their arguments stop when the spaceship is filled with bright light and they notice that the ship is falling uncontrollably into the sun. Don tries to change the direction of the spaceship, but it doesn't work. In the meantime, Smith manages to free Judy from the cryo, but she is still unconscious, so he rushes to give her CPR. After his failed attempts at changing the direction of the ship, Don says to John that they will have to use hyperdrive, but John is not satisfied with the idea, as he says that if they use hyperdrive, they will be lost in space. Eventually, John agrees with the idea, and they use the experimental hyperdrive with an unplotted course, which causes their ship to transport through the sun at super speed, and they reach a remote planet in an uncharted part of the universe. In the meantime, Judy has also woken up, and John locks Smith in a spare room. After that, they all gather to find out the location of their spaceship, but to their disappointment, they find nothing about the planet in the databases. They are all worried, realizing that they are lost in space. After traveling for a while, they spot a giant spaceship, and even though they figure out it doesn't belong to humans, they still decide to go to the spaceship so they can find the data of Alpha Prime, as they had lost their data during the hyperdrive. Leaving Maureen and Penny behind, they all carefully board the new spaceship with the new modified robot that Will is controlling, but there is no one inside that ship. Instead, they find strange-shaped rocks scattered around the ship. Maureen is navigating the ship from Jupiter 2 and spots a red dot on the map. She tells them that there is something present on the ship. They follow the directions from Maureen and reach a forest inside the spaceship, where Don spots a little monkey. After wandering around for a bit, they manage to find the navigational data for Alpha Prime, But before they can go back to the ship, spiders start coming out of the rocks and attacks them. They all run and hide inside a cabin, quickly closing the door, but it does nothing to stop the spiders as they easily start breaking the door. Don quickly takes out his gun and fires at spiders to buy some time while Maureen hacks and opens the door to the spaceship. They all manage to come inside their spaceship, but the leg of a spider falls inside their ship while other spiders jump onto it. Maureen quickly scans the spider's leg and finds that these creatures are attracted by the light. Listening to this, Don quickly turns on the engine fire of that ship, and as a result, the spiders start rushing toward the source of light. When all the spiders reach the other spaceship, Don destroys it, but their spaceship is also affected by the blast, and after uncontrollably falling down, they crash onto a nearby planet. Everybody remains safe during the crash, and after they are stable again, Smith picks up the circuit he brought from the other ship and changes its setting. While doing so, he feels itching on his back, revealing a big wound that he got from the scratches of the spiders. Meanwhile, Maureen scans this new planet and tells them that it is habitable for humans, so they can visit it in the morning. The next morning, they all leave the spaceship to explore the planet and find a huge bubble. After carefully examining the huge bubble, they figured out that it could be used for time travel. John and Don decide to go in the bubble first, and after traveling through it, they appear in another place where they find a broken part of some spaceship. When they clean the dust from the part of the spaceship, they find that it is a piece of Jupiter 2 that seems to be destroyed in the future. Back in the spaceship, Will is trying to fix the robot that was destroyed during their fight with spiders. John and Don are trying to find something else when suddenly they are attacked by some robot, which shoots them, and they pass out. In the meantime, Smith convinces Will to join him as they both go and explore the bubble on their own. As they go inside the bubble, the graves of Maureen, Judy, and Penny are shown. They continue to move further as it is revealed that John's wife and daughters were killed after 20 years of reaching this planet. Further inside the bubble, when John wakes up, he comes face to face with a man who shows him a locket that John gave him, revealing that he is Will from 20 years in the future. The older Will shows John his time machine, and seeing this, John suggests that they should plant the core material of the time machine in their spaceship so they can easily go back. Will replies that his time machine is not that powerful as only one person can travel at a time using it, and after that, this machine will be useless. Will reveals that he is planning to go back to the day when they boarded Jupiter 2 and stopped the mission because it was a failure and everyone died during the mission except him. He says that he lived alone for 20 years and doesn't want to do this anymore, but John stops him from doing so, saying that this time travel can be harmful to the Earth. The older Will refuses to listen to him, saying that before going inside the bubble, John promised to be back, but he never did so. Just then Smith comes there with younger Will, and without wasting any time, he points the gun at little Will, plants his modified circuit in the robot, and says to older Will that if he wants to see everyone happy, he has to give him the time machine. Smith wants to go to the Earth alone, but before he can proceed with his plan, another strange creature with a black face comes there. Smith is scared as the creature talks to him and reveals that he is the future Smith and has had his appearance changed because of the spider's bite. The future Smith throws the current Smith out of the ship and uses the modified robot to threaten others. The younger Will tries to remind the robot about their friendship, saying that he has modified him and that there is still his chip inside the robot, so he should throw out the circuit Smith has planted in him. Surprisingly, the robot obliges with Will's request as he throws the circuit out of it and gives his control back to Will. John requests that Don go back with Will and keep his family safe until he comes back with the core of the time machine. The young Will and Don return to Jupiter 2, taking an injured Smith and the robot with them. Back in the bubble, older Will asks future Smith that if his family was bitten by the spiders, they should have turned like him, to which the future Smith reveals his true plan, saying that he killed all of John's family. Will realizes that Smith kept him alive so he could build the time machine, and when he says that to Smith, he reveals his true shape, telling Will that he has spider eggs in his body and that he will use a time machine to return to Earth and populate it with a race of spiders. Smith then throws Will into the time portal just as John appears there. John remembers that spiders eat their wounded, so he rips open Smith's egg sac with a trophy as a weapon. Smith's spider army devours him, and John throws him into the time portal, where his body is ripped apart. John then notices Will hanging by a wire inside the portal and starts pulling him out. On the other side, the planet's increasing instability forces Jupiter 2 to take off, but they are unable to reach escape velocity and are destroyed by the planet's debris. The future Will finally realizes that his father has never abandoned them, so he sets the time machine to send John back to his family in a time where Jupiter 2 is not destroyed yet, but there is only enough power for one person. Future Will says goodbye to his family watching him through the portal and is killed by falling debris while John reunites with his living family. They realize that they do not have enough power to escape the planet's gravitational pull, so John suggests that they drive the ship down through the planet, using the gravity well to slingshot them back into space. They are successful in their attempt, but the planet turns into a black hole, and they have to activate the hyperdrives to escape. Using the other spaceship's navigation data to set a potential course for Alpha Prime, the ship blasts off into hyperspace. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you smash that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, and turn on notifications to help the channel out.